Okay, Vikings preseason is over. We lose again, for whatever that's worth, 28-25 to the Chiefs. So I guess first winless preseason since '79, so over 40 years. Um, but again, that doesn't mean anything. All right, I'll talk about the game first. Kind of just like the last one, I was hoping for some positivity, and I got it. We didn't get the first team offense in the end zone, but we did have one really nice drive that got inside the 10, and we kind of stalled, kicked a field goal. And the rest of the Kirk and first team day didn't mount to much. I think I'm not even sure they had a first down other than that one drive. But very nice scoring drive. Irv Smith got a catch or two that looked beastly. Offensive line looked good. I mean, there was one where they it wasn't like they got overpowered, that someone missed like a block or something. I think it might have even been the running back missed the block, and Kirk got just mauled. And you can't have even just that. I mean, that's it's not like those don't count, but
I think we had the additions of Cook and Thielen and Jefferson.
The admittedly very small body of work that the week one offensive line showed here in the preseason, I think was very encouraging. And people don't want to hear that because they want to always have the sky falling, but I think they looked okay.
Those things are hard to overcome. So what we have to do is not
just having an okay offensive line
continue to move the ball
could do wonders for this team.
Let's talk about the progression from game 1 to game 3.
And so,
Kellen Mond, rookie quarterback.
Obviously, our first team defense, what was out there? Now, we didn't start everybody. There were some of the usual guys not playing. Patrick Mahomes lit us up, but he's going to light up everybody. Like people freaking out. Oh my God, we're giving up touchdowns to Patrick Mahomes. With the exception of one questionably legitimate game in the last 3 years, he's done that to everybody.
Again, we're going to have to stay healthy. But we gave up two big plays tonight. Breland on the long ball down the sideline early in the game, and then
it's a different set of rules when you're facing Patrick Mahomes.
We're going to have to make sure that we do a better job there.
He's going to light you up. I mean, most people are probably going to pick the Chiefs to go back to the Super Bowl and maybe win it again, but like it's different. It's a different set of rules when you're facing that guy. There's nothing you can do about it, especially when you're only starting about half your starters and it's preseason, and they're probably scheming more than you are. I mean, I thought that was another thing in this game. Just like the other ones, like the other teams seem to be actually scheming a little more, in terms of like actually drawing up non-vanilla plays and all that. So, look, we got lit up by Mahomes. We also got mildly lit up by their backup. I don't even remember who the guy, Steve Bushell or something like that. He kind of made some of our defensive backups look a little stupid at times, but we ended up getting him a couple times too. Got a pick six. Perry Nickerson got a pick six. Almost got one or two others. Everson Griffin got out there, got a sack, had one or two other nice pressures. Not as much in the defensive standouts. Last week was the one where they had a lot of defensive standouts. Not so much with this one. Jake Browning again.
I thought it was really good.
He came in after Kirk, finished out the first half, didn't look good.
Just all the things
I
leading
don't
up
know
to
that he's
games. I
played
thought
his way off the
honestly, I thought it
roster
was great tonight with a loud crowd.
because I think at worst
Our guys
he's
need to be in
almost
different
guaranteed to be on the
environments,
practice squad because he's
and
vaccinated,
try
and
to
you're gonna
learn
have to have
outcomes
somebody
from those
vaccinated.
things. So,
Um,
I think that part was really good. It's
but
unfortunate
again,
that
he
we
looked
didn't
really
play a
bad.
little bit better in some of the games.
Coach, thanks a lot for your time.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I think
That's it, Coach Mike Zimmer, guys. Back to you in the Twin Cities.
All right, Greg, thank
well,
you,
and
buddy. As I
then
was mentioning tonight's
Kellen
MVP
Mond played the whole
power
second half.
player gonna
That's
be
where the big
AJ
positivity
Rose
comes from this
Jr.
game.
Tonight's
Mond looked,
play
I think,
puts
very
together
good.
the FVP. Power up for the game with an FVP
Definitely the
battery.
best
Reach
any
for what works.
of our quarterbacks have looked at any point in the preseason.
Vikings fan line, Ron Johnson will be joining me. That's all coming up
He did have
just
2
ahead.
turnovers.
Minnesota Vikings
I don't think
Radio
the
Network,
turnover was
driven
his
by
fault,
Polaris.
really.
For
He
the
threw
last year,
like
you've
kind
all
of
been stuck
threw
in
one kind of
place,
high
doing
down
the
for
same thing in the
Zach
same
Davidson.
space.
Davidson, I don't know what he was doing
Isn't it
on the
time
play.
to
He was
play
like,
off-pause and kick play?
if he had jumped, made any sort of effort for the ball, it's probably a catch.
Try something new.
But it was picked off. And then there was another play where Blake Brandel got just beat horribly, and mine got hit, and the ball flies up in the air. And I can't remember if they even ruled it a pick or a fumble, but either way, it was a turnover. But beyond that, he looked pretty good. He got out and ran. He threw downfield sometimes. KG Osborne made a hell of a catch on the sideline at one point. They scored on a screen pass to Rose, and he took it in. That was first offensive touchdown of the preseason. And then they scored another one later, and also got a 2-point conversion at one point. So I mean, this is pretty good second half. Very promising stuff from Mond. And I think at this point you have to say that Mond is ahead of Browning. I don't know how they could not say that. And I think this is how it's going to go. Obviously you couldn't even cut Kellerman if you wanted to, because he would get picked up, but you're not going to. He's on the 53. Jake Browning, I think there's very little doubt you could cut him and he'd clear waivers and you can put him on the practice squad, and I think that's what they will do with him. So then are you going to just go with Mond as your only other quarterback, and then Browning? That'll be TBD. I mean, there's probably going to be some veteran quarterbacks out there. You could bring in a veteran this close to the season. I mean, they did it with the Sam Bradford trade. I mean, they traded for Sam Bradford with less time before the season, and he was going to be the starter. Although he didn't start the first game, so after they got him. But in this case, you'd be picking up a guy, or maybe there'll be a trade. It's just a guy to be a backup, come in here, be the veteran backup, so you don't have to rely on Kellen Mond if something happens with Kirk, or and of course there is the vaccination thing that it's gonna just loom over this team.
We did get our first offensive touchdown, and that would be with AJ Rose. You just heard the call there with Paul Allen. And for a team that
it's going to be a thing.
Get one touchdown or any score from the defense, well, they got back-to-back games where we got pick six.
I'm trailing off on that. Point being, I think they are going to at least kick the tires on maybe some other quarterbacks. I don't have the list of names. I've seen Blake Bortles mentioned. I mean, obviously, there's not going to be anybody who excites anybody. So I don't think it's going to be anybody exciting. It would just be somebody who, hey, can kind of just man the ship for a little bit if need be. But I was down on the Mond pick when they made it. I haven't seen much to change my mind so far. This is probably the first time I've seen him and been like, okay, I kind of get it. This is why you drafted him, because he's obviously got some talent, and obviously he's you see him in the preseason. He's playing
We only had
you know,
67 yards go up
Wap
against us
Fillier
and Greg Holman now
and
back in the
you
lineup.
know, Smith Marset and Myron Mitchell and some of these, you know, he's playing with guys who will maybe make the roster, more likely be practice squad guys, and maybe not even be practice squad guys. So, you know, not to mention the offensive line he's played with. You know, I don't think you want him playing with, you know, with the ones, because you don't want him out there yet. But it would be interesting if something happens to Kirk and you stick Kellen Mond out there, then in a real game with the first team offensive line, Thielen, Jefferson out there, Irv, Dalvin, you know, everybody. I've at least seen now something that tells me, okay, this guy can play. He's at least something. You know, you can at least see what you got there. And you know, maybe they can develop him. Maybe he can be something. But I think he had definitely the biggest win for the game. Greg Joseph did miss a field goal. It was a long one again. I mean, he's missed 2 in the preseason. They've both been, I think, over 50 yards. Granted, you got to make them. You know, you're gonna have times when you need to make a 50-yard field goal. You know, is that enough for they're gonna, you know, be looking for another kicker here in the next couple of days? I don't know. I'm sure if somebody comes available and they like him better than Joseph, I'm sure they will make the move, because I don't think that would be a problematic move to make. But yeah, that's about it. There weren't a lot of standouts necessarily in this game. But like overall, I think it was a more positive thing. Like the last 2 games, I think were fairly positive, except for the Chicken Littles who want the you know, who just want it to be eternal chaos and negativity. I mean, I don't know how many more times it can be said to some of these same fucking people that these games are meaningless. Like you watch them and you can maybe gauge something about the individual player, maybe. But like, oh no, they're 0-3 in the preseason. No, they're not. They're 0-0 in games that matter. Who gives a shit? They've had undefeated preseasons here. They've had preseasons where they looked dominant. I think 05 might have been the one where they were just destroying people in the preseason, and then you get to the regular season and they're just getting killed. And they have that awful start. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The one that gets brought up all the time is I think when the Lions went winless in the regular season, they had an undefeated preseason. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, and for the next 2 weeks, all we're going to be hearing about is how the first team offense didn't get a touchdown in the preseason. I mean, they barely played. They played what, maybe you know, barely like a half of football in total. But you're going to hear it. You're going to hear that, oh, they didn't score a touchdown. And oh, they went 0-3. Like, it's such bad faith arguments, because these same fucking people who want to act like the sky is falling because they didn't score an offensive touchdown with the first team, and that they went 0-3 in the preseason, and then, you know, they got lit up by Patrick Mahomes, and they got lit up. Their backups got lit up by Denver. The same people who want to make, you know, a catastrophe out of these things, they would be saying the exact opposite if we were sitting here right now and the Vikings had just finished a 3-0 preseason. And it, you know, scored, you know, a bunch of points with the first team offense. These same fucking people would then be saying, oh, well, that's just preseason. It doesn't matter. I don't get it with these people. These people are just, they're addicted to the negativity. They're addicted to the chaos. They claim to be Vikings fans, but they only want things to be bad for the Vikings.
Yeah, he doesn't feel good right now. Yeah, 28-25, the Chiefs end up beating the Minnesota Vikings.
And
First time since 1979 that they go winless in
like,
preseason.
it doesn't
We're gonna talk
fucking
about that.
matter.
Ron Johnson coming up here.
Like, if you're playing a game, would you rather win it? Sure. I mean, I'm sure they'd rather win it. Why not? It just looks better. But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't fucking mean anything. That they went 0-3 in the preseason. Who gives a shit? If they have a good season now, a bad season, in the middle, it's going to be because of what they do in the regular season. It's not going to have anything to do with what they did or did not do in the preseason.
I got my mental together.
And it's year after year, this is proven true. And people refuse to ever learn.
It's very fast. It's different from college, but you've made that adjustment. I remember having a conversation with you. Were you responding or were you reacting?
Like, I haven't been following the whole league closely in the preseason, but there's so many. I know I've seen some of the scores. There's final scores that don't make any sense. Like, things that are not going to happen if they were a regular season game. But you can't convince these people. They're going to think for the next 2 weeks now that the season is doomed because they were 0-3 in the preseason. And you can't shake them off of this idiocy.
I just stayed the course.
But
one of my
it means nothing.
Just run through the smoke. It can get blurry and everything.
Whatever season they have, it's gonna have here. It's got nothing to do with what we saw the last 3 games. Nothing. Other than injuries. There's nothing really that can happen in preseason that can affect a regular season. And I think they came out of they've come out of the preseason relatively healthy. I mean, they're they sat Thielen. He got hurt last week. Obviously, like the Jefferson thing, that didn't happen in a game. And they've had some guys get nicked up here and there, but I don't think they've had anything in the preseason that's big as far as injuries. So they got, that's like the number one goal is get out of it as healthy as you can, and I think they have done a pretty good job of getting out of there healthy. And obviously the Darisaw thing, that was not a game situation. So
the coaches kind of have an idea from that, but again, it's practice. Like Allen Iverson was saying, like, we're talking about practice.
These people who just want to be negative about it, I just don't get it. You're not fans. The ones who are they're just addicted to this constant sky is falling, fire everybody, we're doomed this season, we're going to have a terrible season, and they're basing this off of preseason games. Yeah, guess what? Patrick Mahomes lit up half of our starting defense. Guess what? He'd probably light up our whole starting defense because he lights up every fucking buddy. We're just a very dumb fan base, and it just drives me insane. It drives me absolutely insane sometimes.
So right now it's kind of a KJ Osborne thing, and we don't really know what Kubiak's offense is going to look like either.
These are the same fans who,
it's going to be a collaboration. I mean,
if we now go and blow out Cincinnati in week 1, are going to be like, well, it doesn't mean anything. It's just one game. Fuck that. It's just the Bengals. Like, they're never going to be happy. They're never going to give any credit to the Vikings for anything that they do, unless it's negative. Then they're gonna just obsess over it. It's a mentality I don't understand. I just never will understand it. But that's how these people want to live. That's how they want. It's how they wanted to spend their Friday night, is watching a Vikings preseason game and losing their mind in negativity. But I'm coming out of it pretty positive. I mean, it wasn't like a great preseason. It wasn't like, it wasn't like the ones where they had undefeated preseasons and blew everybody out and looked amazing. But again, this stuff doesn't translate. Like, would it be more fun, I guess, the last 3 weeks if they had blown everybody out and stuff? Yeah, sure. I mean, it'd be more. I guess it'd always be more fun that way, but it doesn't translate. it's not going to translate. You know, if they go out there and blow out the Bengals in week 1, it's like, it's not going to matter. Like, and it doesn't matter anyway. But I mean, it won't be forgotten, I guess, because the people, they'll be like, oh well, they were still bad in the preseason, so we. I don't know. These people are nuts. I can't even with this. I can't with this fan base. But you know, so next will be the cuts. We got I think 31st is the cut. It's the cut down deadline. Obviously, the Vikings got their last game out of the way a little early, so maybe they're gonna do some. They're gonna, probably maybe they'll be making some cuts tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if there's gonna be any like super surprising cuts. I mean, it's gonna probably be mostly just the guys, the low round draft picks, the college free agents. I don't know there's gonna be too many names that would come out that would kind of surprise anybody. I think Jake Browning is going to get cut, but I think they're going to put him on the practice squad then. Everyone's obsessed about them releasing Dakota Dozier. I still think they're going to release Dakota Dozier. I won't be shocked if they don't release Dakota Dozier, but I think they're going to cut him. If nothing else, they're going to cut him, and then maybe they would sign him back after week 1 to do the thing where you don't have to guarantee a contract. Because Wyatt Davis is banging on the door to be at least second string, and I don't think you're going to want to have like Dakota Dozier sitting around collecting over $1 million as a third string lineman. Chad Beebe's heard mentioned as a possible cut. I mean, I could see that. I definitely think they're definitely. I mean, 100% keeping KG out of Warren. We didn't see D.D. Westbrook again, but I think they're still going to keep him. I don't know about that. I mean, like at this point, he's been hurt. He didn't play in the whole preseason. But Chad Beebe's not irreplaceable. But I could see that going either way with Beebe. Really nobody else of note, I don't think. And then we'll see what happens with the kicker. Maybe they'll still do something with the kicker. I didn't see enough bad from Joseph to be like, oh, we got to get rid of him. Like, okay, he missed 2 preseason field goals that were over 50 yards. I don't think that's like a criminal offense. I think you can, live with that to a degree. So we'll see. We'll see over the next few days. But I don't think this preseason was anywhere near as negative as some people want it to be. I don't think it was. It wasn't sensational, but I think we, again, got through it pretty healthy. The key guys that we absolutely need are going to be going to the season healthy. The line that we're going to be starting week 1 with, I think, has looked pretty solid. And we ran vanilla plays.
He went up to the booth. His dad did it, so he probably's been teaching him a little bit of that.
But
when I was in Indianapolis,
I've
Tom Moore
said it after all 3 games. I haven't liked that approach personally. I feel like you got to do a little something at least. And they kind of did with Mond in the second half when they were down. They were trying to come back, but
hey, what do you guys see? Hey, Brown, what did Reggie just say? And so I'm over there talking to
I would have liked a little less of the vanilla stuff, but most teams really just do the vanilla stuff in the preseason anyway. So I don't think it's like a fatal mistake or anything like that.
But yeah, it seems to work for certain guys.
But
a lot of people. That's kind of
all right. Thus ends the preseason.
Some guys like being up there. You're away from the players.
And we'll be on to Cincinnati, and I think we're going to win in Cincinnati, and going to make a lot of people forget about this preseason very quickly.